Welcome back to episode 2 of my toilet paper album. I found my Crop-A-Dile, yay! So I can show you how I do the binding. But first, I finally decided what I wanted to do with my cover. And I'm going to stamp. Maybe I'm going to stamp. That depends on if I have a stamp block handy. I'm going to stamp a sentiment from the Pirate Scales and Fishtails set by K. Andrew Designs. And it says, "Your friendship is a treasure." And because I'm using VersaFine ink, which is my all-time favorite stamping ink, I need to go ahead and heat set it so I don't smear it. Alright. And this I punched with my EK6S border punch. I have no idea what the name of the punch is called. Now I'm going to adhere this to the cover of my album. And remember I said the cover is the one with the texture side up. So here's the textured side. So I'm going to put this in the middle. About like so. Go over it with my bone folder, and now we're ready to bind. I use the biggest hole, this one actually, on my Crop-A-Dile, and typically I have it set at 1/2 inch or whatever the 1/2 inch hash mark is, and I punch like toward the bottom. And then I punch toward the top. And really, I just eyeball it and I make sure it's flush against the guard of my Crop-A-Dile. And then that's going to put 2 little holes in there. And then, this is my back cover. I take the next page, making sure I stamp in the, or I punch on the closed side. I line it up and punch again. Takes a little force to get it in there when there's 2 of them. Okay, I set the cover aside. Move on to the next. Make sure they're totally even. Punch. And this is my back cover, and I want to make sure that that's outside when I bind it and when I set the eyelets. hard part done. I want to make sure that my back cover with the textured side up and the front cover are set correctly, so I do those first. Oops. Okay, so those two are done. Then I like to alternate. So here we have the back of the eyelet, and so here we're going to have the front. The back and the back and the front. So you need 8 eyelets if you use a 4-page book, 4 toilet paper cores. And you just want to make sure that whatever binder rings you use, your eyelets will of course go through them, or your binder rings will go through them. Alright, so now that all that is all done, now you can bind it. Normally I use 3/4 inch rings, but this one's going to be quite bulky. And so I already know that, and so I'm going to just use the bigger 1.5 inch binder rings that I have. And I think these D rings I'm using are 7 Gypsies, I'm not sure. And then, once you get it bound, you can embellish it as you want. I never have this much problem getting my rings through my eyelets. It's because I'm on camera, I'm sure. Wow, really? It won't go through this back one at all? Loosening up my eyelet. Go. Alright, and there's your basic toilet paper album. And actually, now that I'm looking at these rings with it, I don't really like the D rings. And my 3/4 inch rings are too little. But I have other rings. So I'm going to take these out and we're going to do this again. Yeah, see, if I was really good at editing videos, then I could just edit this part out with the wrong rings, but I'm not that good, so. Go. Okay, so you can see, because I use these big rings, there's lots of room for this album to expand. And I have my embellishments here. I'm just going to do the front cover for you. I want to use, what do I want to use? I think I want to use some twine. Blue and brown twine. I'm just going to put twine bow on there, I think. Twine is probably the only thing I don't tie with my bow board. Just is easier for me, I think, to tie the twine separately. Oh, do I want to put maybe a sparkly button? Have this really cool rose that would look good on there. And a heart. Maybe I'm not going to use the twine after all. I noticed my border piece is coming up a little bit, so I want to tuck that back down. Then I'm going to use my Elmer's Fabric and Craft glue for this rose. You could use a glue gun too. And I don't really worry, too terribly much about any excess glue buildup along the edges, because it dries clear anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And you just want to hold these a couple seconds until they set. Okay, and then there's the cover. Let's zoom in a little bit here. There's the cover. It says, "Your friendship is a treasure." Okay, and before, of course, I can go on and decorate the inside pages, we need to let that dry. And I don't like to wait. I'm not very patient. It's why I don't do very many videos, because it takes forever for them to upload. So what I'm going to do is cheat. And I'm going to pull that aside. In fact, I'm going to take my rings out so I can decorate with my pages individually. I'm going to put this under a light so that'll dry faster. Then I'm going to look at these other pages and what I can do here. buttons. I have stuff everywhere, man, I'm telling you. Alright. So now I'm going to look at this page. This is going to be the inside front cover, the second page, or the first actual page in the album. It's the first page opposite the inside cover. And I'm going to use one of these little blue flowers that I have here. And some of these with a little brown button in the center. I really like how that looks. And I'll probably add, I don't seem to have them handy. Oh wait, here's some right here. Some pearls along the edge maybe. These are not actually the ones I was hoping for. But this one is. Alright, so let me get my button going. See how I want this. There we go. I really like that. So we're going to push this bling down. And we're going to glue our flower, bottom of it. Like so. And again, when you're using the fabric and craft glue from Elmer's, you just want to give it a couple seconds so that it will tack. Oh, look at that. I had two flowers. Whoops. So we just glue a button in the middle of this one. Okay, moving on. I'm going to use a mulberry flower next. And this is one that you could actually use your distress inks with, or your glimmer mist or whatever, but I'm going to use this one plain, and my little gem here has sticky on it already. Okay, now on this piece we have the flower and the raised part on the outside edge. So on this side we want it on the inside edge. And you don't have to do it that way, but I just found it kind of helps the album lay flatter better. So we're going to put it right here. I'm not sure what else I want to do in this album. Decisions. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside because I'm not quite sure what else I want to do with it. And I'm going to pull out some of my tags. That I pre-cut from my eCraft. And I grabbed some blue paper. Kind of corresponds with the blue that's in the project already. And now we're going to work on our interior pages while I think about what I want to do on the outside. So here I have my broken china and my DIY ink blending tool. And I'm going to get out my nasty mat because I'm too cheap to buy the craft mat. Make sure I'm using the broken china side because I made them double-sided. Ink both sides, both edges, both sides, whatever you want to call it. And lightly on the actual tab itself to turn it from my outer frame from this white color, from the white to the blue. You can go as light or dark as you want. That's up to you. I just want a little bit of color. Okay, so there's one. We're going to have 4 interior pages. Oh, oops. If I could have better editing skills, I would fast forward through this too, but I don't know how to do that yet. I'm only going to do these two so that you guys can just get the basic idea. My last video was 26 something minutes and I barely showed anything, so I don't want to do that again. Might already be too late, I'm not sure. I'll get better, I promise. As I make more videos, I will figure out how to fast forward things and stuff. Or cut and pan back in or whatever. Okay, so that gives you, where's my lid? An idea on that. And I believe I said my pages were about 2.5. And so I'm going to make the interior pages 2 by 3.5. And I want the first sheet, or the first piece, to be the blue. Move some of this stuff out of the way. So I'm going to come in here and cut it 3.5 by 2. This time we only need 4. And see how nicely that slips right in there? Right in there, it doesn't get stuck at all. Okay. Then I want to come back in with my patterned paper. So we're going to make that 1 7/8 by 3 3/8. Okay, and we want 4 of those as well. Okay, so now I have my 4 patterned papers, my 4 background pieces. It's time to put it together. On this side, I want to use the brown. And the brown needs to be the same size because there's the border from the coordinations paper that I didn't cut off. So we did it 2 by 3 3/4. And that'll be just perfect to cover 3.5, I guess. And then this will cover that up on the back. See, just like that. Smooth side up. So if your paper is textured on one side for stamping, it just makes it easier. Okay. And because I just tend to be OCD like that, I'm just going to trim the brown off that you can see on this side. Just a little bit. Okay. Then you can take your tag that you made, or that I cut with my eCraft, and attach it. And I want to use my Tim Holtz mini stapler, so hold on a second while I grab that. Okay. You could glue it, you could use your ATG, whatever is easiest for you. But I don't use this very often, and I like how it looks, so I'm just going to do that. There you go. There's one of the inside pages. And it's going to slip in like this, and the tab is going to stay out. Okay. That's the back cover. I lied, I'm only doing one interior page. Okay, there you go. And each one of your interior pages, you would put a little tag on them, like so. You could do ribbon, or you could alternate, do a tab and ribbon, or whatever you wanted to do. And then decorate your individual pages. And your inside pages, and once you get all of that done, then you would add your fibers and ribbons to your rings. Like this one, remember the Christmas one, or this one that I did. This actually has some awesome texture to it because I didn't just use ribbon. And you can see this one with the tulle in my peppermint and chocolate album. So I hope this is helpful in showing you how to do your own toilet paper core mini album. Like I said, I typically do all of mine with 4 cores, but you could do it with 5 or 6. That's entirely up to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment on this video or visit my blog at faithfullycreations.com. Until next time, thanks for watching.